Today on Commons Garage, I'm trying to actually replace my um, ignition coils and fuel injectors. First thing that you gotta do before you start any electrical works on your car is to disable the negative um, connector of your battery before you get anything started. So I got the battery off as you saw earlier, got a negative charge off, terminal off, and now I'm trying to point out the coils and the injectors that needs to be replaced. So here is the coil. So here's the ignition coils. The new ones. So technically, the old ones don't have much of any problem. But I'm just trying to replace it because I've never replaced them before. I replaced any of these parts. So this is the fuel injectors. So fuel injectors. And like I said, both the coils and then the injectors are not, the old ones are not, they're still in good shape. They're not bad or anything. I've never changed them before since I've had this car since 2013. So it's a pretty, it's been there for a long time, almost 13 years now. So anyway, it's been over 13 years now, and I'm just trying to take them out and put some new ones in there. They did perfectly okay. There's no problem with them. So here we go. To remove the coils, there are a few bolts that you got to take off in the head. There are about 4 or 5. About 4 or 5. Four for the four coils on this 4-cylinder car. So here I got I'm taking the coils out. So the first coil, second, third, and then obviously the last one went out first. So now I need to take out the spark plugs as well, just to check if they're in a good shape. So yep, the spark plugs are out, the coils are obviously out. Now let me find my way towards the fuel injectors. So with the fuel injectors for this car, they held them by two bolts, two 12mm bolts, and they are hooked up to the fuel distributor. So we got the first 12mm bolt out. Now we can try to get access to the injectors. That's the first one. Some of them are pretty much stuck in there because it's been there for a long time. The plastic washers that are on the ends of it have been stuck pretty much in there. So I need to use a screwdriver to pull some of them out. But anyways, one of the holes was in the way. The intake hose was in the way, so I had to remove that part so I can have a free access to the distributor and be able to take out all the fuel injectors. And that's probably the last one. Okay, so I got them out of the way. And I got the last but one ejector as well. Okay, so all the ejectors are pretty much out. Ejectors are pretty much out. Now it's the rubber washers. Oh, yes, that are the end. So they also out. and here's what it looked like. So those are the old fuel injectors, and we're going to replace them with a new one. So it's that same spec, it's that same design. So all the fours. And then we got the coils, so the old ones with the spark plugs in them, and then you got the new ones that are gonna take a look. They're gonna replace the old ones. Like as I said, both the injectors and then the ignition coils, they're all still in good shape. Like I said, I've just not replaced them in 13 years now. Well, 12, 13 years now. So I just thought I'd just replace them. And I bought them last year. It's been there for some time, about 3 months ago. So it's been here for a while, and I just figured it's not gonna get any newer. I might as well just replace them right away. Anyway, I got the vacuum out just to clean out the dirt and guys are build up around the connecting hose or the valve that the coils and then the injectors goes into. So I got those dust out of the way, any other debris around that place out of the way, using the vacuum. And that is the distributor right there, and I need to get the new ones back in there. I need to get the new injectors back on it for the replacement. So that's your distributor. Usually the fuel coming from the fuel pump right from the back gets pushed through the hoses and then comes all the way into the distributors. Into the distributor, 4 holes for the distributors to basically house the fuel injectors. So I got the first one in. And second one in, third one, and the fourth one. So I got all 4 injectors in the distributor now. Now it's just a matter of working it back into the respective slots. So at least can have the replacement in place, properly line up, and fit into their respective slots. You want to get a nice fitting, nice layer, a nice fitting into the slots. So once they sit properly, and you're good to go, then you can now bolt them down for a better grip. Everything looks like it's in place. Just add a bit of push on it if they're a bit loose. But the bolts should just take care of any kind of gaps that might be created, or that might get the sitting off. Once you bolt it down, it sits in their respective slots very, very comfortably without any leakages or any kind of issues. So it's in place now. It looks like it's hold up. Now I just gotta bolt them down before actually connecting the electrical harnesses onto them. So we've got 2 bolts that bolts the distributor down to the engine blocks, and also keeps the injectors in their respective slots quite well, or firmly in place. Okay, now the electrical harness is connected for all the four um, injectors. I think one of them was not the last one at the far end was not going through, so I need to lose the bolts back up so I can have room to plug the electrical connectors from the harness back into the last injector. And once that was in place, I can now bolt it down again so it can be firm in place, and to prevent any leakages whatsoever from coming out. So here I'm trying to clean the spark plugs using a brake part cleaner. It's supposed to decrease those oil and burns that are on the ends of the spark plug. Just to get it a bit cleaner before it goes back into the ignition coil wells. So I'm just trying to get them clean a bit, not to the not too clean, but because these are burnt marks from the ignitions and fuel and air and spark. It causes all that burns that you see. So there's not much you can't really clean it down to like new state. It's gonna have all those marks on anyways. But I did my best to clean it as much as I can before putting it back. Okay, so now let's go and put the spark plugs back into their walls. Four respective spark plug walls that we got on this 4-cylinder car. Okay, we're trying to get it tight up in there, and hopefully they'll be firmly in place before the coils comes in to take over. I got the first coil. And the tip looks very solidly built, so obviously it's gonna hold up pretty well. I can just tell just from the quality of the coil from examination. It looks pretty solid design, just as good as the original one that was on there. Okay, so they're all in place now. Now let's put the bolts back in to lock them back in place firmly. Create a tight seal, so there won't be any vacuum leaks around it when the air to fuel ratio comes into those wells to create ignition for the combustion to take place. Okay, now we're bolting them down firmly, not too tight. You don't want to tighten too hard, otherwise it might cause thread. Okay, so now that's bolted down quite well. Let's plug the electrical harness connectors back on for the ignition coils. Yep, so we got all four in place. And yep, we're pretty much done with all the replacements of both coils and fuel injectors. So that's pretty good. Just a simple, you know, replacement, nothing too complicated. Yep, so that's how I like the new ones. This new ones looks pretty solid. I hope they last for as long as I'm still holding onto this car. Anyway, so now that you're done, you can pretty much put your negative back up on your battery terminal. Like I said earlier, that's the first thing you have to do. You always want to take off the negative charge in your electrical terminal on your battery before you start working on any kind of electrical work on the car. Always take off the negative terminal off. It's just so to avoid, you know, some of the fuses getting short, or some of the electrical components on the car or in the car getting short. Okay, so that's bolted down and we're pretty much good.